Hello, it is your sleepless god back with What If Rogue Had a Brother, part 5? I believe so. I might be wrong on this. So, last time we left off, uh, uh, Copycat started changing the nicknames of the kids because he's realizing that these kids' nicknames do not clarify what they are. These kids have to have different nicknames. Like the girl, first name was Darkness. First nickname was Darkness. Now she changed it to shortened version Cat or Black Cat. Full distance. Next one, Exposure Man. Hothead, his first nickname was. And he thought that was absolutely ridiculous because he's not a hothead. He understands the strategy of everything he's doing, so he calls him. Now he real nicknamed him. Sorry, I forgot. Ground Zero. Yes, I forgot how cool that nickname is. Ground Zero. And an Alfred, who was like nicknamed Darkness, who he gave himself that nickname Darkness. So he's like, oh yeah, that's my nickname. That's my personality. No. In this world, you do not give yourself your nickname. That is ridiculous. And I nickname you. It's like, what do you nickname you? What do you nickname you? What do you nickname me? It's like, I nickname you Arthur. It's like an Arthur, like Arthur Pendragon. Yeah. And then Ace didn't get his nickname changed. Ace's nickname is perfect, never changes. And all of them kind of got like an example, like what they should do better. And Ace in particular did really, really well with their exam. But the one thing we talked about is that he, with his immune ability, what he did was he actually killed his parents. And that's when he was fighting with Copycat, or our main character. He was holding back, even though he probably knew in the back of his head that he didn't have to hold back, but his brain just couldn't allow himself to go all out with him. Go as powerful as he would do normally. So what he would do is he said, "Hey, you guys train. When I come back, if you guys are not training, I'm gonna have a punishment. Me and Ace are gonna go outside, and you're gonna go all out. You're gonna go all out, no matter what. I don't care what it is. You're gonna go all out." Now, that's where we last left off. Now let's start the video. Now, Ace is kind of like not prepared to go all out yet. He's never gone all out before. But Copycat in particular says, "Don't worry, I got you." And makes a massive shield out of crystals, like these bluish, like kind of whitish crystals. He says, "These are the most strongest crystals I could ever make. You won't burn through these. Trust me. These crystals have taken a supernova to the face and laughed at it." Go ahead. As he went all out. And when he went all out, he felt this just relief of stress and anxiety that was building up in him. It felt like a little bit of just like he could never really go all out with a person. So with him just releasing everything at once, his anger, his rage, his sadness, revenge, everything in one terrible blast, he felt better. And it like he did it for a full just like 15 minutes of just him burning things to the ground and letting the flames just cross his like flesh as he kept on using the flames from what he burned to use bigger flames as he starts hitting the walls with more fires. He starts burning thing to the ground. As for a good 15 minutes, he just started using his fire as much as he physically possibly can. As when he finally got out of the fire, it was literally lit in flames as as Copycat snaps his fingers to get the flames out of there. But he realized that that relief of him to realize that he doesn't have to hold back with them, Copycat will keep him alive. Now, the other kids inside practice their abilities as much as they can. And then when Copycat got back inside, they kept on mastering those abilities, especially Ace going all out with crewmates. And they realized that with fighting different people, so like Cat will do really, really well with someone like like Ground Zero, because she can cover his legs in darkness and just put him down to everything else. And the only way he can explode if he's used his entire body, but he's not going to normally do that. But would do terribly against Ace because Ace is way too quick for her. And then, but like would do decent against like, so all of the four have like pretty good they kind of like they realize like, okay, if Cat is gonna verse Ace or Ground Zero, most likely if they don't speed blitz her instantaneously, she's gonna win, no matter what the scenario is. But against Arthur, she will almost, it's always a 50-50. Because Arthur has an ability to make armor, and if she doesn't suck in the armor and Arthur gets out of it and makes more armor, well, he keeps on doing that. But with Ace and Ground Zero, they're almost a tie, because Ace has resistance to fire, and Ground Zero has resistance to fire because of its explosions. So they both just basically try to burn themselves to nothingness, and also literally can't do it. So, Arthur is terrible at fighting Ace, because Ace is so much quicker than Arthur is ever going to be. Same with Ground Zero, but a little bit less, and is really, really good at fighting Cat. So, like, they all have weaknesses and strengths with them. So what he does is he says, fuck this shit. Stop 2x2 fighting. Stop for like, he goes outside and he gets into the forest and makes a massive, basically a arena full of crystals. And makes a front door. And makes the front door completely made out of crystals. And he said, this is the first day of training. What this is going on is I'm going to set up a timer right now for 15 minutes. 15 minutes of a timer. You will guys fight with two things. When this timer goes off, or whoever's going to win. It's one of the two. And that's what they do. They train. Because the first fight, Ace kind of gets like Ace overpowers Cat, and Cat realizes she needs a long-range weapon to get Ace at bay, and she needs it to be long-range but also close-range. So what she does is she makes a sword with her darkness that can unclip into more like a whip section. So there's like a dark rope connecting them that she can lengthen out to hit Ace if in those longer sections. Because her darkness, if she doesn't because Ace and is so much more faster than her. She still holds her ground, obviously, but she wasn't that great. Same with they all started learning things from each other. Like Ace realized, hey, I can't hurt Ground Zero with my flames, so I'm gonna have to use my fist. So what he does is he puts a little bit of a fire below his elbow, and he makes it a basic rocket punch, and he punches him in the face. And every day after hard training, they do exercises, stretching. They do like a warm-up, like an ab warm-up, like strengthening, push-ups, sit-ups. They do stretches, after that they do a little bit of running, a little bit of lifting, and then they do stretches after that, just to make sure everything's stretched out, nothing's going to be pulled. And then they do combat training. And combat training is just in the pyramid you go. Every day is 15 more minutes than the last one. So it was first thing, 15 minutes. Second thing, 30 minutes. Next day, 45 minutes. Until Friday hits. And then it goes down to the next day where Monday hits, 15 minutes. And it just keeps on going like that. So it's getting to the point where they're getting used to quick fights. So like engagements that go quick. And then engagements that go slow. Like the hour-long fights, Ace and Ground Zero start pacing themselves a little bit differently. They start realizing, hey, this might be a long fight. Like they know this is going to be a long fight, so they know like he's not going to open those gates until that hour goes away. So they start realizing that they need to lengthen out these styles of their combat. And this is where the beautiful work comes into. Because after this, they started kind of training by themselves. Like Ace will sometimes train with Cat to like work with his weaponry and work with how like her speed, and like sometimes Knight will train with Cat, or Cat will train with Ground Zero, or Ground Zero will train with Ace, and they started training like not like all out. Like obviously, Copycat warned them, if you're gonna train outside the field, and I'm nice with that, you have to only train with 50%. 50%, that's it. So like with Ace and Ground Zero, they're not allowed to go all out. And Ace is used to holding back, Ground Zero less, but he can hold back enough. So it's been a couple of months of him just getting used to that. And it got to the point where he's so used to it, he doesn't even like, he used to like stand in the front, watch them. He's now more off to the side. He's right now smoking a cigarette. And he's talking to right now Logan. He's talking about Rogue in particular, and he's like, "Oh, so you're helping her out?" And he's like, yeah, bub, just helping her out a little bit. You know, her family wasn't the greatest mutant explainer in the world. It says, yeah, I can understand that one, but not all the parents are the greatest. As Logan laughs and says, takes a ginormous whiff of his cigar and just says, "You can tell me that one more time, bub." As he hears someone yell, and he says, "What is that?" As Cat runs over to the other side and says, "Hey, you, come over here. Something's going on." As he walks over to the other side, and he thought, "Oh, it's like, is someone like, you know, going a little bit too more powerful?" Like a couple times that has happened. King Arthur, or I should just say Arthur, like going a little bit too powerful with his move and actually slicing a little bit too much. That has happened a couple of times. Or even Ace going a little bit too overzealous. So he's not really, he doesn't go there fast. He walks there a little bit slow. But what he sees there is he sees someone he's not expecting. Someone that him and Logan never really had good terms with. Number one, because of her treatment with Rogue. Her treatment with Rogue is almost god awful. And what I mean by that is she's almost isolated from her. And that is Cyclops' girlfriend. What's her name? I'm trying to remember her name. And all I gotta say is the Phoenix, because that's all I can remember her as she starts to freak out on Ace and Ground Zero. Now, Ace is kind of like too cocky about it. Like, okay, cool, you're not our teacher. But he sees when she starts yelling, especially when they're training like this and there's fire all around. something happens with Ground Zero as he starts seeing like his body starting to light up, like his entire body is doing small explosions, because his hands can do explosions, his legs can do explosions, but his entire body is basically like a fucking grenade. His entire body can go boom. As Logan looks at him and says, "That's not good." As he says, "No, it's not." As he grabs the railing, as everything stops. It seems like the world is going to the world is frozen. Not slowing down, frozen solid. As he grabs him by the waist and moves him to an area far, far away from here. And he goes right up to the area and he says, as he stops time, as he restarts time, as he says, he looks up, he says, no, you can't, you're gonna, he says, go boom. He's like, what? I'll be fine. Go boom. As he releases everything at the same time because he could not. As he puts both of his hands up, as he starts compacting, as you see multiple limbs start popping off to grab the explosion. They start sucking it up as he consumes the explosion. As Ground Zero looks at him and says, "Thank you." He said, no. What happened? He says, I just had a flashback to what exactly? The first time I figured out I had mutant abilities, I accidentally blew up a dangerous chemical set and I set fire to the lab. I got a very good lashing from someone, not my parents. My grandmother, who hated mutants and was racist, and she broke my arm and my leg and my rib before my mother or my dad could come and grab me. And when she did, the police figured it out and sent her to prison for 6 months. And that's it. We've never contacted her again, but I've been having these nightmares of her coming back to my room and killing me. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I want to train. It says, that's why. As he takes a deep breath, just, okay, let's go back. As he super speeds back, grabbing all the children, and he says, okay, children, so lesson's going to be done for today a little bit early. Looks at the clock. Just a couple minutes. I want you guys to eat good. Start your stretching. You remember, 2 hours, like we talked about. As he's like, okay, thank you very much. As he starts seeing in the corner of his eye. She's walking back up as he says, you better not even try to fucking talk about that shit in front of my kid before I rip your goddamn head off. She's like, what? She was using her quirk outside. I told them they had direct permission to unless they go all out. They're a lot of more control than what you can fucking do, the Phoenix. I was like, I'm not that. As he jumps around with that fucking attitude. I don't even know what you are, a mutant or a fucking curse. Because those kids are the most happiest people I've ever heard, because their fucking lives are not the greatest, but still goddamn better than most of ours. So guess what? I don't want to crush their souls because some fucking bitch doesn't understand that I'm allowing them to use their ability because they have control over them. as Scott, aka Cyclops, start walking up and says, hey, calm down, I am calm, as he hits his arm against the air, as you see the air crack, 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 as it leaves a mass, as you see the almost like the actual earth itself crack in half, as he looks at him and says, I'm immortally calm right now, because luckily enough I didn't smash this building to pieces. As he lowers his fist, realizing his rogue's in here, his kids are in here. He cannot show that he's angry. He cannot show that he's furious, but he is. He's mad. Now, if any one of you ever talk to my kids with a disrespectful tone, or go through them and making them have an episode again, as he looks at all of them, as his eyes turn a deeper shade of yellow, I'll show you the true power of the fucking gods that I fought. So please to God, don't let me have to use them, because I will. As he snaps his finger, as the continent reshifts and is put back into place. Now, run. As even though they're adults and he's a lot younger than them, they actually do run away. As Professor Xavier from behind him says, copycat. He looks over and says, yes. Let me have a word with you. As this is where we're going to end it off today. Hope you guys liked the video. I'll see you guys all next time. Goodbye.